What does it take to earn the title, the Godfather of Soul? For James Brown, it meant rising from extreme poverty, surviving prison, and battling demons, while at the same time shaping the very sound of modern music. From raw gospel roots to funk, soul, and even hip-hop, Brown's influence stretches across decades. He was more than a singer. He was a performer, a pioneer, and a voice that inspired millions during America's most turbulent times. But behind the flashing lights and legendary music, James Brown's life was filled with controversy, heartbreak, and redemption. This is the untold story of James Brown, the man who taught the world to get up, get into it, and get involved. James Joseph Brown Jr. was born in 1933 in the deep south of Barnwell, South Carolina. His early life was one of unimaginable hardship. Growing up in poverty during the Great Depression, Brown was abandoned by his parents and left largely to fend for himself. By the age of 7, he was living in a brothel run by his aunt. He shined shoes, picked cotton, and danced on street corners for spare change. Music became his escape, singing gospel in church and imitating performers he admired. But poverty wasn't his only challenge. By his teens, Brown was in trouble with the law. At just 16, he was arrested for armed robbery and sentenced to prison. For many, this would have been the end of the story. For James Brown, it was only the beginning. In prison, he met Bobby Bird, a gospel singer who would become his lifelong friend and collaborator. That friendship gave Brown not just a chance at music, but a chance at life. After his release, James Brown joined Bobby Bird's group, which would later become the Famous Flames. Their breakout hit, Please, 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 in 1956, showcased Brown's raw emotion and unmatched energy. It sold over 1 million copies and launched him into stardom. Brown wasn't just another singer, he was an electrifying performer. His stage shows were legendary. The footwork, the sweat, the cape routine, where he'd collapse dramatically only to leap back up with explosive energy. He turned concerts into spiritual experiences. In the 1960s, Brown redefined soul music with hits like I Got You, I Feel Good, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, and It's a Man's World. His style was revolutionary, laying the foundation for funk and influencing generations of artists. But James Brown was more than music. He became a voice during the civil rights movement. Songs like Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud gave hope and pride to African Americans during a time of deep struggle in America. By the late 1960s, Brown was not just a superstar, he was a cultural icon. With fame came fortune. James Brown lived like a king, owning mansions, private jets, and even his own radio stations. His concerts earned millions, and his reputation as the hardest working man in show business became legendary. But behind the fame, Brown's life was far from perfect. His temper, controlling personality, and relentless touring schedule strained his personal relationships. He married multiple times, and many of those marriages ended in turmoil. By the 1970s and 80s, Brown also faced growing battles with substance abuse. Cocaine and other drugs fueled erratic behavior that led to arrests and public scandals. Once celebrated as a hero, he was often portrayed in the media as a troubled star spiraling out of control. Despite these struggles, Brown never stopped performing. His concerts, even in his later years, remained explosive. The same intensity that made him great on stage was also what made his personal life so turbulent. His story was not just about success, it was about the cost of greatness. At his peak, James Brown earned millions of dollars. He was one of the highest-paid performers in the world, touring constantly and selling out arenas across America and beyond. But money slipped through his fingers just as quickly as it came. Extravagant spending, poor financial management, legal troubles, and costly divorces drained his fortune. His empire of businesses, from radio stations to record labels, collapsed under mismanagement. By the 1980s, despite his legendary status, James Brown faced bankruptcy. IRS troubles, mounting debts, and court cases kept him in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Yet, even in financial ruin, Brown's music never lost its power. His tracks were sampled by hip-hop artists like Public Enemy, Run DMC, and later Jay-Z, proving his influence was timeless. While his bank account emptied, his cultural impact multiplied, cementing his role as one of the most influential musicians in history. In his final years, James Brown sought redemption. Though his personal life remained complex, he focused on reconnecting with fans, mentoring younger artists, and preserving his musical legacy. He performed until the very end, often saying the stage was where he felt most alive. On Christmas Day in 2006, James Brown passed away at the age of 73. The world mourned the loss of a man whose music transcended race, culture, and generations. James Brown's legacy is undeniable. He influenced everyone from Michael Jackson to Prince, from Mick Jagger to Kanye West. He didn't just make music, he created entire genres. Without James Brown, there would be no funk, no hip-hop as we know it today. He rose from nothing, built an empire, lost it, and still left a mark that no one can erase. James Brown will forever be remembered as the Godfather of Soul. James Brown's story is a reminder that greatness often comes with struggle. He was flawed, complex, and controversial, yet his music changed the world. From poverty to prison, from superstardom to scandal, James Brown never stopped moving, never stopped performing, never stopped believing in the power of music. What do you think? Was James Brown the single most influential artist of the 20th century? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more untold stories of legends who shaped the world of music. Because every legend has a story. And this one belonged to James Brown, the Godfather of Soul.